I sure hope you're good at editing then. So
That's okay. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay.
Hi, this is Dan again, and I'm here, General Manager of CLC Radio, and I'm here with Mr. George. Now, you're going to have to say your name.
Tuchowski. Tuchowski.
All
It's
right.
a Polish name, but it's relatively simple too, Tuchowski. Hi, my name is George Tuchowski. I am Director of Sustainability for Leopardo Companies. We're a general contractor here in the Chicago area. I am also the ex officio of the United States Green Building Council Illinois chapter. We used to be Chicago, but we encompass the whole state, so really it's the Illinois chapter. As the head of that organization, really what I look to do is to educate everyone from that child in school to that developer to that homeowner to fellow contractors on what sustainability really means and how it can be accomplished. When you hear the word green, there's so many different connotations that can go to it, and most of the time people are thinking about snake oil. And I'd have to agree that there are many products, many influences out there that are truly not sustainable. So we like to replace that word of green with sustainability. But education is the key to us, Dan. We need to educate everyone on how what it does mean. There's so many benefits that can come from it. We just need to know and understand. And there isn't one size that fits all. I can't tell you, Dan, if you did this at home, this would be just as good here at CLC as it would be for mom back home or wherever it might be. There's many different things, and they're very specific to each one, so it have to be looked at that way.
Well,
And-
by the way, I'm not being
and
indifferent folding my arm. I just have to get
Oh, that's all right.
heart's
That's
getting
okay.
tired.
All right. But those are the things that we look at, and every opportunity is just a different challenge, a different way to go about solving the problem. To understand that there are actually solutions for it. It doesn't just mean new construction. 4.5 million buildings here in the United States are already built. What is the best way that we can make the biggest impact? And why, Dan, do we want to make this change? Why is it important? We have to realize that our lifestyle and our lifestyle of our parents and our grandparents have really left an environment that is damaged, all right? Have taken a look at the resources that we have as a nation and as a planet, and we haven't been that smart with using them, all right? It doesn't mean I'm asking you to give anything up. I'm just asking you to say, continue enjoying what you are, but find a different way to get to that means, all right? Find a different way, whether it be the vehicles we drive, or the homes that we live in, or shopping centers that we go to, or the plants that we grow, or our grasses and what we treat our grass with. You said there's just smarter ways to do it, and I want to educate you on what those smarter ways are. And as the U.S. Green Building Council, that's mainly what our mantra is education. And then, of course, advocacy. It'd be great that we come up with a bunch of great things to do if our legislators don't understand it, so we have to look at that. If our schools don't understand it, how important it is to teach our children the sustainable attributes, all right? And education, again, we'll get back to that big E word, education. That's what it really means, and that's what really we can make the difference in.
And you were speaking on a panel here earlier today, just now. What was that panel comprised of?
That panel was comprised of a lending institution and of a designer who also did the same. They took a look at how, what, and where we think and how we've built in the past, and did we really build the smartest? What was the paradigm? What was the model we were using? Give me the biggest for the least, instead of let me just build the smartest thing for you. And so that changing that mentality. Secondly, though, when you change your mentality, or you ask someone to change your mentality, that means someone has to take that first step. All right, someone has to say, you know what, I am going to try to change this paradigm, this model. What can I do different? Well, you need someone to help you get there too, and that's where the lending institution comes into play. They take a look and say, you know what, that is a good idea. You know what, I do understand you, I do believe in you, and be able to do it. And most importantly then, where I come into play is a contractor. And I explain to them the challenges that we have with it, the ideas and how and what we really can make that idea and take that to fruition. Is it possible? Is it a bad idea? Is there really that return on investment of what idea you may have? And sometimes it isn't, but I look and I try to give you that information. So we got the design thought, we've got the lending institution and the builders, and so that's how we kind of put that group together there.
And then was your audience generally made up of a mix of those three as well?
You know what? We didn't poll our audience, so it wasn't painful for them. So, but I take it. We did poll our audience, but we did ask a few times who do we had in the room here, and so with my opportunity to speak with others, we did have engineers, we did have architects, we had students, and we had some representation of municipalities. So we had a nice mix throughout, and so hopefully we gave them each something that they were looking for.
But how new is new home building become stamped or the possibility of stamped Energy Star compliant?
Well, Energy Star compliant has been around since the early 2000s, and sometimes in many instances prior to that. Mainly when they talked about Energy Star, it looked at appliances and strictly energy use. There's a lot of great progress that come from it. And it's not just homes. It's commercial facilities can also be rated as Energy Star. And in fact, as part of the LEED system, the LEED scoring for existing buildings, you must achieve a certain level of Energy Star. But where Energy Star is very good at looking at your energy consumption, we as the USGBC look for other things too. If you take a look, allergies. 40 million Americans suffer from allergies. 10 million suffer from asthma. These numbers are constantly on the rise, and they're a direct correlation to our continued use of chemicals in the homes and in our businesses. There's many things that affect the health of the building, and it's what we put into it. Take a look at home. What do we use when we're cooking our food, frying our pan, personal hygiene, cleaning our home, etc.? These things put a lot of toxins into our air. Those toxins affect your system, and over time, they can lead to maladies throughout. So aside from energy efficiency, let's make this a healthy building too. So the materials that we use to build it and the products that we use to clean it and maintain it are all very important. And lastly, then we take a look at where do our materials come from? What's our carbon footprint of really building that home or upgrading that home? Where does the materials come from? We try to look to push forward on local economies, buy something that is produced or manufactured locally. If it isn't, you can somewhat create a market for it and that demand for it. And so we take a look at where the materials come from, what type of materials we put in, and how they're going to perform. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. What else, Dan?
Because you had mentioned that there was a lender on the panel.
Yes.
And have lenders become better educated or smarter on their own or through the help of people like yourself?
I'd love to be able to tell you it was just from the help of people as yourself. Sustainability affects every industry, all right? Without a doubt, no matter where you're at, from an education to a lender to lawyers to insurance companies, everyone has a benefit for it. Many times that information is provided, and one of the things I love to do is that education to as many different entities, but many times they come to us looking for it. And one of the important parts that came out of this was you can have all the sustainability, all the great products, etc. If there's not a market for it, it's not going to be successful. All right, so what we have to do is educate people on what are the positives of being environmentally friendly. And if it doesn't affect their back pocket, you're not going to get an awful lot of buy-in. So case studies of projects that have been done that'll show, let's take a look at the health side. A LEED building. Versus a non-LEED building, whether it be an office or a manufacturing plant, when you can look at 2 to 16% higher productivity. How does that higher productivity come in? Well, number one, less sick days, all right? When you have day lighting, and you know what, in the winter, if you're in an interior office in the winter, and stuff, you don't know the difference, right? But even then, if you get a little bit of sunlight to you, how much better you feel? Your body reacts differently to it. So there's many different strategies that you'll see that a LEED building has a higher percentage rate, less absenteeism. Let's take a look at children in schools. Besides enjoying the same, a lower percentage of absenteeism and sickness, that kids actually score better on test scores, all right, in a lead school than versus a non-lead school. In hospitals, patients are released sooner than they would in a non-lead. And so these aren't our claims, these are independent third-party studies that come out with these. But when you can start showing a return on investment on the personnel, how it affects your personnel, then turn around and show them that how much less energy that they're consuming. When you consume less energy, what does it mean? Your bills are lower. When your bills are that much lower, now you caught my ear, right? Okay, yeah, you can tell me as healthy as it wants. I'm going to be able to save money, Dan, and I'm going to be able to do what? And of course, it's like, well, what's my return on investment? I heard that stuff is really expensive. So now we have case studies that can show that return on investment. And the most important thing is you're going to tell me in 3 years I'm going to get the return on investment for this type of lighting? Yes. And after that 3 years, now it's paid for itself.
And then as the manufacturing process become better and more, and there's more products, available, costs would come down. And then that return on investment can become 2 years and 1 year.
Oh, without a doubt.
Over time, within 7 or 8 years.
And then keep in mind that return on investment, no matter how much we shorten it, every day, every week, every month, every year after that, you now are enjoying those too. So that just keeps giving. And you know what? You brought up a great point. As we see that now markets are being developed, now we are challenged to come up with better and better products. All right? That's what I love the most. Challenge me. Ask me to say, what have you got? Go tell me you have a problem. You've got an opportunity for a creative solution.
Yeah, like you look at LEDs and how they've come, how what was it just 2 years ago that, like right up here, an LED strip, which this is not, but one that would fit into a fluorescent fixture such as this, was $100 a tube. Now they're $60 a tube.
Right.
Because they're making more of them. They're better. They stay, the individual bulbs stay lit longer, according to the guys I've talked to here at CLC Maintenance.
Right.
Because they were saying the first batch they went through, they keep in the back hall so you can see what happens to them in a short amount of time. But then the newer ones are in where everyone was today for the Greene County convention. Those ceiling fluorescent fixtures are all LED strips. And they've been in there for about a year, and not one of those little bulbs has burned out yet. And it's just better manufacturing over time.
Better manufacturing, right. And challenged, and as one manufacturer sees what another's doing, they try to better it. Now, those don't come without issues, though. All right? What is the quality of light that you get out of it? All right? What is happening in the manufacturing process? Where do the materials come from? How do you dispose of those? So these are all important things that we think about. So before we'll say a product is, yes, this is a product you should use, sometimes we need to go through that testing period. And we may say, you know what, Dan, that's a great product. This one isn't. All right? Or let's not abandon it. Let's work a little bit harder. And these keep getting better and better. And that's really what spurs us. As Americans, as Lake County citizens, these are the things that really get us excited, get us moving, and get us challenged, all right? And this is what spurs us, and this is what made us great as Americans and will continue to.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Dan. So.